The mystery of the disappearing expedition in Antarctica. It is not just an icy continent. It is an immense, inaccessible place where eternal cold and silence reign. It hides its secrets deep in the ice, and those who dare to uncover them often disappear without a trace. In March 1998, an international team of scientists received a mysterious mission to investigate strange radio signals coming from the heart of Antarctica. Little did they know this would be their last expedition. The expedition was led by Dr. James Hunter, an experienced geologist who had worked in the most extreme conditions for many years. His team consisted of 9 individuals, including engineers, biologists, and even a former soldier, John Bennett, who had been enlisted for protection. Their task was to uncover the source of the strange signals they had received a month earlier. But soon they learned that their true mission was far more terrifying than they could have imagined. Upon arriving at their camp, located several kilometers from the supposed source of the signal, the team immediately began preparations for research. At first, everything went according to plan. The instruments worked fine, and communication with the outside world remained intact. The atmosphere within the group was tense but focused. The thrill of discovery was matched by the fear of the unknown, and the promise of uncovering ancient secrets hidden within these frozen plains. However, within just a few days, events began to unfold in a very different direction. The first incident occurred on the 4th day after their arrival, when the seismic station, set up near a massive ice crack, recorded unusual vibrations. These were not just natural movements of the ice, but something far more sinister: steps, heavy and rhythmic. The team dismissed it as a natural phenomenon, yet the growing fear began to creep into the camp. Things took a darker turn when one of the scientists, Dr. Thomas Martin, went out to check the data and never returned. When the team went searching for him, they found his body in an ice cave, but it was not what they expected. His eyes were wide open, yet his gaze was empty. His body was frozen in a strange position, as though he had tried to rise but couldn't. Black liquid oozed from his mouth, and his skin was cracking as if it had been exposed to unnatural forces. Though unable to explain what had happened, the researchers decided to continue with the expedition despite the chilling discovery. But each passing day brought more strange occurrences. One by one, team members began to vanish, their tracks leading deeper into unexplored caves and chasms, places that seemed to stretch beyond the boundaries of human comprehension. Strange, unnatural noises began to echo through the camp, creaking, as though the ice itself were coming alive, and whispers barely audible but deeply unsettling. But the worst discovery came when the team stumbled upon an old, abandoned station in the very heart of the ice continent. The records they found there confirmed that previous expeditions had disappeared under the same mysterious circumstances. It became clear that this place hid not only secrets but malevolent forces, desperate to remain hidden. Further research revealed that the area had once housed a secret military laboratory where experiments were conducted with biological and psychotronic technologies. One of the records mentioned that the scientists were trying to create a weapon that could manipulate the human mind. But the experiments had gone terribly wrong, and the creatures that were created in these labs had turned against their creators, hunting anyone who sought to uncover their secrets. These beings had long since consumed the previous expeditions, and they too hunted for any new traces of life that could fall within their reach. In the end, the remaining researchers, trapped in this icy hell, realized there was no escape. All attempts to contact the base failed, and the frozen wastelands around them only heightened their sense of isolation. With each passing day, it became evident that they were not the first, and that their fate was sealed. The fear they felt began to morph into something far worse. They started to lose their grip on reality. The creatures lurking in the dark corners of the underground caves were not ordinary predators. They used ancient psychotronic technologies to invade the minds of people, manipulate their perceptions, and turn them into puppets to be controlled. In this frozen hell, there was no place for salvation, only an endless cycle of torment and dread. The remaining researchers began to see strange, distorted images, and feelings of anxiety flooded their minds. They could no longer distinguish what was real and what was part of the manipulations of these creatures. The last one left was Julia, a biologist who desperately tried to gather the remaining equipment and send a distress signal for help. But her last attempts were lost, just like she was. All she managed to do was record her final words on the radio. "They are everywhere. We were part of their experiment. Don't come here. Leave while you still can." Months later, a search team sent to find them discovered the abandoned camp. The remains of the researchers were found scattered in different areas, their bodies mutilated, twisted, and distorted as if they had undergone horrific experiments. Their faces were frozen in agony, skin burned and peeled, and their eyes wide open as though they had seen something far worse than death itself. The records found on the radios couldn't be deciphered. The only thing left was the ruined station, hiding horrific secrets, ready to consume the next group of fools brave enough to enter. And Antarctica once again claimed its children, leaving only screams in the empty, frozen silence.